welcome back to my channel. For the beginning of this week's video, I'm just going to read straight from my blog because it really is the best worded way I can think of to introduce this character. When you have a habit of making sisters for existing characters, it's hard to decide on another path. Even if the person you're making a sister for has a habit of frying anything that annoys him. That's right, this week we are talking Full Metal Alchemist and the character I created, Kaelyn Mustang. Before any of you ask or check your internet connection, you did not mishear me. I made a younger sister for Roy Mustang, also known as the Flame Alchemist, and I promise, I don't hate my characters. Coming up with a description for Full Metal Alchemist was difficult. Basically, it takes place in a world where alchemy is the preferred scientific practice. There are those who practice it that are known as State Alchemists, and they're given their titles, such as Roy is called Flame Alchemist, the main character is called Full Metal Alchemist, as the title of the show said. You also have the Crimson Alchemist, and I know there are others with other names, but at the moment I can't remember what they are. The show is about Edward and Alphonse Elric on their journey to regain Ed's arm and leg and Al's entire body. When they were younger, their mother passed away, and they had already started studying alchemy at the time. And they wanted to bring her back, so they performed a forbidden type of alchemy called human transmutation. In that, the theory of equivalent exchange, which means you have to give something to get something, Ed lost his left leg and Al lost his entire body. In an effort to get his brother back, Ed willingly sacrificed his right arm to bind Al's soul to a suit of armor. The show, as I said, is about their journey to regain Ed's arm and leg and Al's body and what they go through to find out if it is even possible. I follow Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood while writing Kaelyn because I feel it's more in depth. It follows the manga a bit more, better, and I just like the way it flowed. With Kaelyn, the plan was always for her to be Roy's sister. Roy doesn't have a lot of strong familial connections, and I wanted to change that. He does have his subordinates, he does have his friends, but he doesn't have, like I said, he doesn't have a lot of familial connections, and I wanted to change that. Kaelyn is 8 years younger than Roy, and one of the two most important things in his life. And Kaelyn, while she can sometimes get annoyed with Roy because he is the stereotypical overbearing big brother, she wouldn't change who he is for the world. She wouldn't want any other brother, she wouldn't want any other sibling at all. Roy is who he is, and she loves him for it. Creating Kaelyn came down to one question: did I want her to use alchemy? At the time that I created Kaelyn, I still tended to ask my family their opinions on things, at least when I wasn't, confusing them with what I was talking about. That's kind of actually why I stopped asking their opinions. I started venturing into topics where they were like, what? Or what? And I asked my aunt, my mom's older sister, if she thought Roy would be okay with his younger sister studying alchemy. My aunt she is still, but she very, very childlike at heart. She watches anime and stuff like that, but it was a mistake asking her opinion on what I should do with Kaelyn, because she then criticized and tried to change everything I had picked out for Kaelyn. It's just who she was as a person. Eventually, I got my hands back on how I wanted Kaelyn to be and decided that Roy would allow his sister to make her own decisions and make up her own mind about how she wanted to live her life. And I decided that Kay would study alchemy. She wouldn't go the same road as Roy did. She wouldn't be studying flame alchemy, but she would follow in his footsteps. And after that, it then became a matter of deciding what she was going to specialize in. She didn't have to specialize, but I felt like it would be a good road for her to go down for her to specialize. Also it would make picking out her state title a lot easier for me. It took a while and some trial and error, but I finally decided that metal would be her specialization for two reasons. One, she spends a lot of time with Ed and Al, and if she specializes in metals, she can help reinforce Al's armor, or she can do spot repairs for Ed's arm and leg. And the second reason is because metal is in almost everything. No matter where she is, she'll have access to her medium of choice, and she's not really limited by it, unlike her brother, who is useless if he or his alchemy gloves get wet, something he is constantly reminded of. The easiest part of writing Kaelyn are her relationships, not just with her brother, but with his subordinates, his second in command, Ed and Al, pretty much anyone she knows. She's the kind of person who can really get along with anyone no matter what. Of course, unless she knows you're a bad guy, and then you are on the worst shit list in the world. But with the people she cares about and truly likes, Kaelyn is the easiest person to get along with. Yeah, she's got a biting wit and sarcasm coming out the butt, but name one person in the show who doesn't. Maybe Hughes' daughter. Maybe. But she's little, give her time. The hardest part of writing Kaelyn is just figuring out where she's going to be with each major event throughout the show. A lot happens within each season. There's a lot of different branches to the storylines, you know, with the different characters, and deciding where she's going to fit into each of these moments, or if she's even going to be a part of them, was always very challenging. It's a good challenge. I mean, that's half of the challenge of having original characters, is trying to figure out where they're going to go, but it still took a lot of careful thought and planning to make sure I wasn't throwing anything off or messing with events that were already set in stone just by putting her there. Without a doubt, Kaelyn's best memory is when Roy gets his eyesight back. She's always looked up to Roy, always known her big brother would do anything and everything for those he cares about, and seeing him so helpless without his eyesight was very hard for her. Knowing he might not be able to see again, it was a very difficult pill for her to swallow, so when he gets his eyesight back, there really is nothing that could make her happier at that time in her life. She just, knowing that he's going to be okay, that he's still going to be there for her, it's everything for her. Her worst memory is watching Riza bleed out after the gold-toothed doctor slits her throat and seeing the pain Roy goes through, knowing he either has to sacrifice the woman he loves or give in to the demands of their enemies to save her. Roy and Riza are Kaelyn's family. Riza, in the years she's known the Mustang siblings, has become Kay's big sister. And the idea of losing her is right up there with the idea of losing Roy, not something she ever wants to consider. In that moment, though, it's not something to consider, but something that is actually happening. Those heartbreaking moments before Riza is saved almost break Kaelyn, and it is just as terrifying for her as Roy losing his eyesight. The bond I developed between Roy and Kaelyn and Riza, it was almost like I made Kaelyn the glue that just helped solidify Roy and Riza's relationship a little bit more, gave them more of a reason to be around each other more, whereas, you know, they had to step carefully and hide their feelings so their enemies didn't know anything, which obviously didn't work if you've ever watched Brotherhood. Kaelyn she's almost like the excuse that they need to be around each other more. They're, you know, obviously if you've seen the show, you know, Roy is very protective of everybody, Riza most of all. And she's protective of him, and then you put Kaelyn in there, and it's like they can be protective of each other without it being obvious, because they can always claim that the concern they're showing is for Kaelyn, and no one would be the wiser because it wouldn't be unusual to see them be concerned for her. There was no original plan for Kaelyn. I just wanted to make a character for the world and give Roy a sister. That was it. Now she is her own person and fits so seamlessly that I couldn't ever regret making her. Do I regret putting her with Havoc and forcing him to endure having Roy as a brother-in-law? No, he'll live. Mostly. And that is our character breakdown for Kaelyn Mustang. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought. Let me know down in the comments below what you prefer, the original 2003 Full Metal Alchemist anime, the Brotherhood anime, or the manga series. As always, all of my social media handles will be down in the description below, along with my blog if you want to read the post that goes along with this video. Make sure, if you haven't yet, to hit that subscribe button and turn on that little notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload. It means so much to me to know that you guys like my videos, so hit the thumbs up button as well. And I will see you guys next week with another character breakdown.